We're live. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? Um, yeah, it's here. It's Wednesday. Um, Pretty exciting. I'm just going to check my audio as always. Yeah, it's here. Oh yeah, we're working. We're working. Sweet. Hell yeah. Okay, so we have got a little bit of a busier stream today. Well, not busier stream. We've it was a little busy. We're going to talk about Shin Ultraman a little bit. We're going to talk about the upcoming box days for a few moments. Nothing crazy. Once again, and then we'll talk about like the relevance of that with tariffs, because the tariffs could or could not affect that. I'm checking my tracking right now on Gamera just to see. It said it was supposed to be here today. It hasn't even left customs yet. So normally it takes like a day or two to leave customs, get into customs, leave customs once it's US side, and then normally the day after, the next day after that. So I would say Thursday, which is tomorrow, would be kind of unlikely, but there's a little bit of hope, which is good. It wasn't today because I accidentally slept until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. By that point, USPS has already been here. Lately, due to less workers and stuff because of budget cuts and all that shit, they've been getting here a little bit later in the afternoon, which is absolutely a-okay. But I still would have missed Gamera if it would have been here today. So thankfully it wasn't here because I slept straight through. But yeah, so Gamera should be here Thursday or Friday, and then whatever day it gets here, the next day, hopefully, at least, I'll have the review out. Kind of like what I posted on YouTube. I can actually bring that up just so people can see, because I feel like maybe some of you guys are able to catch live streams and catch videos, but you're not able to catch posts or understand that I do use posts quite a bit. So here we go. Oh yeah, you guys can kind of see some of my the things I'm subscribed to. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Whoops. I'm a little fiery today. I'm a little fiery. Like I said in this post, oh well, let me bring down the full text quick. There we go. So you guys can see it. If you guys are on like console and you guys aren't able to see posts, this is how I talk to you guys a lot. When I'm not posting, I am normally making a post, so I kind of went quiet after a few days. I said there might be a second review this past weekend. It didn't actually happen. And then I kind of talk about that here in a little bit. So if you guys aren't able to see posts, if you're using your console, basically, so right now with content, like I said, I'm gonna try to do 2 reviews a week. But right now, and it's something I've been struggling with basically all year, is how do I make reviews entertaining, which I think I'm getting a pretty good hand on. Hopefully reviews are doing really good, so you guys must like them, because analytically wise they wouldn't do good if you guys, the subscribers, normally the very first people to watch my videos, watch it. If you guys end up liking it, whether you actually like the post or you just watch 10 minutes of the 17-minute review, that normally tells YouTube that it's a pretty good video. So without your guys' support and without your guys' entertainment, these videos wouldn't do what they do. So I gotta feel there's Tater hacking up along. I would feel like if they weren't entertaining, they wouldn't be doing good. So I'm getting a handle on that. But the main thing is, how do I make them me? Because that's the one thing. I watched a few reviews from a few years ago and kind of like in between, and then I watched a few current ones. Hey, hi Papa. Tater's right here. Everyone say hi to Tater. Hi Tater. Hi Bubba. Hey, go boy. Oh. That's what you get for moving too quick, you big old lug. I'm trying to find a way to make the I'm trying to make the videos more me. Where the live streams, it is kind of me because I'm here, thus I have to be kind of, I have to have a personality, and that's the thing I feel like a lot of my videos have been missing, is personality. Obviously people watch reviews for the reviews, and then the person comes second, sometimes not. I kind of do a little bit of both. There's some people I watch that I'm only watching because they cover the figures really damn well, or maybe they just don't have personality, so it's easy to get a 50-50, like constructive look at the figure and then maybe a little bit of opinion. And then there's people I watch that are just for their opinions because it's them, and then there's some that, you know, I kind of watch for both. So I'm trying to find a way to be able to balance that without also not doing what other people do. I still think like something I used to do is I used to throw skits or like mini divergences from the actual review, but I always feared that maybe someone who doesn't want to deviate from the main video, you know, they don't want to wait a minute and a half to actually get into the figure. You know, they want to start this review out, they want to know what they're looking at, and then they want to actually see it in some capacity, whether it's articulation, the accessories, size comparisons first, which is what I like to do typically. So I never want like to take away time away from the people that want to do that, but at the same time I know some people like to have a little bit of extra, and I know people did enjoy the skits when they were in some reviews 2 years ago now. Oh, hey Alex, how's it going, buddy? How's it going? Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Hopefully you're doing well today. I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. I haven't been hit with tariffs on my Gamera box yet, but we'll see. Be getting here in the next day or two, so I guess we'll see if there's a tariff. To which case I will be going live and probably venting my extreme frustration if I figure out that I can't get this without paying a tariff check on it. So but this sum things up. I'm trying to find a way to make the reviews a little bit of me, but also still have that constructive criticism while also having an opinion as well, so I'm not a robot, because that's not what my videos are for. I'm not one of those reviewers that can just do things constructively. You want someone like that, definitely go to like Anthony's Customs. Of course, he doesn't really review kaiju stuff too often, but he reviews action figures, and a ton of action figures almost every single day. So he's a good person if you want constructiveness on a toy. And a lot of times you can, if he gets enough requests to review something, he'll grab it. Like he got the -1 reissue at the beginning of the year, and he was pretty. Admittingly, he was pretty rough on it. He was pretty rough on it. Some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. But at the same time, we know I'm pretty SH Monster Arts -1 bias. I love it. So, a fun world. The creators of Ghostface Mask from Scream said if the tariff stuff isn't resolved, that he may have to shut the doors forever. Whoa. Oh, the creator. Okay, so the actual mask creator. That would be bad. That is such a iconic, even without Scream, that Ghostface mask is super iconic. And like, shoot, I was hoping to get like a, I was hoping to get one of the premium. It doesn't look like it on the screen because I got my OBS hidden from it, so it looks like I'm just circling my subscriptions. I'm actually circling your guys' comments on OBS, by the way, just so you know. So this looks a little weird, but on my screen it makes sense. Yeah, that would be terrible. I was hoping to get one of the more expensive ones this year, Alex, for Ghostface. Girlfriend and I have one of the cheap, I guess they're like $15-$20 Ghostface now, but it's like, it's got like blue like leaking in, and like it doesn't look good. It doesn't look bad. It looks good. It looks like how it's supposed to, but I would like one of those like $50-$60 like anniversary ones. I had a chance to get the 25th one a few years ago, and then I was dumb and missed. I didn't buy the trigger. Now those are like super expensive. So with the premium cloth is, I guess that's what I should say. I want the ones with the actual like the Scream movie cloth look, rather than just the Halloween mask cloth that the normal ones have. So I was hoping to get one. I hope that doesn't happen, man. I hope that doesn't happen. So, Daniel, hey, welcome back. I think you're definitely one of the most level-headed reviewers when it comes to Shma. Hey, thank you. I try to be. I try to give balance. You know, I try to give balance. You know, especially with like Shimo and Scar King. Like, there's a bit of honesty that comes out with those figures, but at the same time, like, just because there is honestly bad things, bad engineering choices, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't mean I can't enjoy them as much as I do either. And I feel like, dude, what PM you find one for a good price. Yeah, please, Alex. I probably won't be able to buy it for a while, but knowing where I could find them, I haven't looked in a while either. I probably could just go to eBay. I'm in a few mask collector groups thanks to Slipknot masks, and I probably should just go hit up in there. I think someone was selling some a few months ago, but yeah, let me know. Yeah, I try to with especially with Monster Arts, I try to be pretty even where it's like, oh yeah, I'm being critical, but also like, just because I'm critical of something or don't like an engineering choice, it still doesn't mean that I can't enjoy it either. And I feel like that's something I want to discuss, but also kind of scared because that goes into like opinion and fact. And it's like, I can sit here and say, I think people have kind of lost that way with a lot of reviews, especially with Monster Arts. They lost their enjoyment of it, which is fine. But at the same time, I feel like that bleeds into the reviews too much. Like, I feel like there's some people who are just reviewing Monster Arts just to hate on Monster Arts, which, it's their money, so screw it. If that's what they want to do, then that's what they can do, but like the people that are obviously like, they love Heyo, don't really like Monster Arts releases, that it's like, oh, then just don't buy Monster Arts releases. I don't see why people got to be like, oh, I hate Monster Arts, I think they're a waste of money, I don't like the QC and stuff, and then still buy it almost every single release. It doesn't make sense to me. If you don't enjoy buying it, don't buy it. It's why, I love the idea, the themes, and looking at Sofubi. I don't like the cost of Sofubi anymore. It's too much. I can buy 3 Monster Arts. I can buy 5 or 6 SHF Dragon Ball Ultraman releases for the price of maybe getting one Sofubi on the aftermarket on Bai. It's just not for me. I respect anyone who's still in the game, who's still doing the hunt, because obviously, like, it takes dedication, it takes time, understanding, and honestly, it takes a lot of love and appreciation for the art to be able to do that, especially in these times of finances. But I also don't blame anyone for not being able to do that either, because once again, finances are finances. It's like the same thing with, like, I don't blame people for not being able to get an SH Monster Arts Legion, and I feel bad for people who can't afford it because it's $500+ before tariffs, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna stop myself from buying it either, because it's like, oh, that's once a year, where it's like, Sofubi's like every Winter Wonderfest, every Summer Wonderfest, possibly every Hobby Round, possibly every Treasure Fest. Like, we could have a $400-$500 aftermarket release because I can't go to Japan every time one of these events happen. And honestly, even if you go to that event, you're probably not getting that piece of Sofubi anyways, unless you're in VIP and you're a certain number in the VIP. If you're over like 1,500, you're not gonna get one. When these Sofubi pieces are only $20. People don't. That's kind of why they're expensive. Is like, you have to spend so much, not really money, but you have to spend a lot of time. Like, you have to go and wait out in front of the venue, hours before it opens. It's like a concert. You go to a concert, to get in the front of the line, you either buy the VIP early entry tickets, or you buy your regular ticket and you wait out in front of that venue for 5 or 6 hours. It's the same thing. That's just what it is. It's like a concert. So you're just not guaranteed to get that. But yeah, so that's kind of my take with it. I love Sofubi. I love the artists and the sculptors, like, and the painters. Like, I love the collectors too. Like, it's just, articulation has always been my thing, and this is just one of those, the year where I finally was like, I'm not gonna force it anymore. Like, obviously, my Monster Arts desire is growing, and my Figure Arts Ultraman desire is growing because I've had to sell the collection 3 times in the past, and I'm sick of it. If I have to sell it all again, it's because I'm financially not doing well, and that's just it. So, and then the same thing with Dragon Ball 2. The essay is way too crazy. The festival's god, oh hell no. Yeah, it's the Legion. Like, the more I see the Monster Arts Legion, the more it's like, okay, the price is making sense. The engineering, the pieces, the paint, the translucent, the patent on the design of the flying form, the fact that the original designer had to design the flying form, and then, like I said, patent it, and then make, then they had to make pieces for it. So to that, it makes sense. For me personally, for a lot of people, I'm not going to hit the mark, and that's absolutely understandable and a-okay. Daniel, Hiya makes good products. They're great to look at and decent to pose. I enjoy the ones I own. Schma figures typically just feel and pose like they cost more. Yeah, Daniel, that's how I feel. Like, I owned the 2024. He's chewing on a bone, by the way. So you guys are gonna get some you guys are gonna get some background ASMR noises. I do apologize. That's how I felt about Hiya. I got the 2024 re-evolved Godzilla last year, and I just wasn't happy with it. Like, it felt cheap. It didn't have the detail depth that everyone kind of, in photographs they look like. And maybe it was just that one release too, or I got a really bad one of those QC ones. It's possible as well. I know mine definitely was painted like slop. It did not look good. The tail was awful. But it was heavy, which was cool. The weight was cool, but everything else, it just kind of felt cheap. Where Monster Arts, it does, it's still made in China, but it just feels premium. The quality of products they're using just feels different, and it's something that I feel like no one gives credit to, for the people that still prefer Monster Arts over Hiya. For the feel, I've been feeling about the same quality, the same plastic, the same paint feel for the last 14 damn years. Like, this is what I'm used to. It hasn't changed that much. A lot of the times it feels better, but like, I'm used to that standard. And yes, there's a price difference, but for me, I would rather spend the extra 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 150, 300, $400 extra price point in Legion's case, because I trust it. I like it. It's just what I'm used to. But that's a personal thing. That's completely an opinion thing. I don't really think that's an objective point. So that's just kind of how I feel. Did you hear Hiya's suspending all products? Yep. Everything after Shimo is suspended, which is because of tariffs, which is something I kind of mentioned back, and we could even talk about it right now for a moment. Now Hiya products are going to be the same, if not more, than the Monster Arts products, which is funny because I saw a lot of people being like, why can't they just ship it to the people who want to pay the fee? And it's like, when it comes to like YouTube comments, I couldn't recognize too many, but there were some, and this isn't like a bash at anyone. This is just something I noticed, just being objective. I noticed a lot of the people that said that they would pay the extra tariffs for these figures are the same people that complain that Monster Arts are $100. Well, with tariffs, if every Hiya is $60 and the tariff right now is $145, how much do you think you're spending on this Hiya? And now maybe that goes into the debate. Well, are the Hiyas worth the Monster Arts price? And that's a whole. I'm not going to get into that. Although I'm sure there's some Hiya fans that would said, well, if I was paying $150 for a Hiya, it'd be worth it. It's like, well, I guess, but that's not the point of the Hiya figures. So I feel like they're doing the right thing. I know some people would be mad. Tamashi's doing the same damn thing. Okay, or I'm gonna be in tariff hell here after this Ami box gets shipped. So it's just what it is. But yeah, the Legion is a Halo figure in every regard. Yeah, dude, it's. The more photos they show, the more, like, it just looks massive. It's not quite as tall as I would maybe have liked it to be, but width-wise and, like, all the joints and the engineering, like, it looks like it can just articulate. They had a video showing, like, the actual range, and although there's a point in the movie where she does, like, her claws make her, like, stand all the way up. I think she's, like, dodging a fire blast or something, or just trying to look intimidating. I don't think she'll be able to hold her own weight, which is also kind of a pet peeve of mine, because I think it looks like she has to be on the stand regardless of whether she's in flying form or she's in her base form, or, like, she's just sitting there, unless you want her, like, super low. So that's gonna maybe be a pet peeve, but, like, at some point people have to realize, like, 'cause I did see some people complaining about it, and that's fine. You know, it's understandable. But like, you either have to have ratchet joints, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of ratchet joints. It makes stop motion really, really hard at times. But also, the product's heavy as shite. You know, it's like the same people that complain about King of Mons kind of having loose legs. Although King of Mons is less defendable than Legion, because Legion is like on her stomach, so like she's just unless you have super tight ratchet joints, she's probably not going to be able to hold herself up without a stand anyways. Where King of Mons, it's two ball joint hips that maybe should have been tucked a little bit tighter, in my opinion. But I was playing with mine the other day, and it wasn't having as many issues. So I don't know if like, just the time of year it's going to be a little bit looser, and then summertime it's going to be a little bit more taut, which it should be the opposite, because the figure should be tighter when it's cold and looser when it's warm. But maybe that says something about my room and the AC being on. So not my webcam. I gotta check one thing here quick, guys. Okay, perfect. Okay. But yeah, so it is a little bit of a pet peeve, but I think I'll understand it once it's here and we have it in hand, which, once again, hoping to have Legion at one of the release dates. I can't promise which one, but I will get Legion this year or next year, maybe. I might have to wait, make a trip to Japan just to go get her. You're going to curious how the in-hand of the G2Ks are going to look. I'm also curious. I'm very, very curious. That's maybe my most anticipated figure this year, I think. I'm thinking. I think so. I mean, besides Legion, probably it's probably Godzilla 2000 versus Megaguirus. I'm curious. I hope it's not like a Final Wars situation, like the first time the Godzilla Final Wars came out, where the head came out a little goofy, a little different than the promo, especially paint wise. It was kind of goofy looking, which I'm hoping this reissue that's about to come out will fix. The sculpt itself probably won't change, but at least like the actual look might change, kind of like what the Bandai Movie Monster series did from the original pink tag version to the new modern, the 2023 release. Yeah, the reissue with the newer arms and the blue tongue, which is, I guess, suit accurate, which is kind of interesting. Or purple, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I should have pre-ordered G2K when it was available, trying to wait. See, and then, yeah, Big Bad Toy Store will not be getting pre-orders for it until this tariff thing is worked out. That was the first sign that I knew tariffs were going to affect Tamashii really, really bad, is when I didn't see the end of March stuff coming out. Just a second, guys. Tater's coughing up a storm in the other room. I gotta make sure he's okay quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I apologize. He's kind of, so he's one. It's his allergy season, so he is like actually coughing for like a real reason. But he also he's figured out how to cough himself for attention. So he's doing a little bit of both right now. He is coughing because of allergies, but he's also just coughing to cough. Yeah, so completely fair. I think and that is the nice thing about the G2K. At least it's a general release. But I need to see in-hand photos. Actually, that is with most products. Yeah, yeah, I agree, Alex. So yeah, it'll be coming around. I've got two on pre-order. So I've got one from Hobby Link and Ami Ami. So, buddy, my doggo has allergies to COP. Itchy, dude. Tater kind of gets itchy, but he mainly just like coughs and snarfs, and then he's a bulldog too, so like he's already struggling to breathe. So like he kind of like gets a really bad combo of everything. So whenever he coughs, I get a little worried, dad, and a little panicky, and I go check on him because he's such a cutie boy. But yeah, okay. So there's 2,000. Yeah, I got two on pre-order right now. One from Hobby Link and one from Ami Ami. So hopefully this tariff stuff is put away, so I don't have to worry about it. Because I wanted to get two. I wanted to get a second one for something special. But obviously, if I have to pay tariffs, then I'm paying for four of them. So, or even more by that time. So I'm gonna, I'll cancel it if we're getting close to release time and tariffs are still around. Unless it's a Vietnam product. But we won't know that until we get closer to release. My guess would be it's going to be a China factory product, so probably not losing that out. How do you feel about Heyo's evolved figure? So I was going to pre-order it, and then I didn't. I ended up not doing it. I fully enjoy the monster arts for what it is, but I do know that Heyo has pushed their Evolved back. It was supposed to be out in October or November, I think, initially. And now it's been like almost 6-7 months. And that's because the Monster Arts came out. They actually saw that people liked the Monster Arts. And I think they updated the articulation to be closer to the Monster Arts articulation. But of course, it's going to be able to move its head in all of the directions that the Monster Arts should have. So it's exciting for the collectors that want it. Hopefully the head sculpt gets updated too, because I don't like the head sculpt on it, or at least the promo ones that we got shown. So I'm curious to see it. I know it's got a new tail articulation that is literally just the Monster Arts articulation. So I'm curious to see what it looks like, but I don't think I've ever been hyped with it that much. I hated the promo photos. I hated the promo photos. They just the two initial 2024 Godzillas, they painted it really weird looking, and it just didn't look right. It looked like digital painting, and it never sat with me very well. So, which I know the end product almost normally is never what the final product, or the promo figure is exactly what the actual release is. Yeah, they were surprised. Yeah, a lot of people were, and I don't really know why. Like, it looked like a banger from the beginning. Obviously, the head not being able to move is a letdown, but like, the rest of the figure is literally a Dragon Ball figure, so, or an Ultraman figure. So like, I don't blame them. It's competition, and it's how it works. It's kind of weird when an official company's doing it compared to like bootleggers, but it's better that like an official company is improving their product, because at least then the actual the actual rights owners, Toho, actually makes money off of it. So it's a win-lose. It's a win-lose, but I'm happy for the Heyo collectors, but sad now that we know that they're not getting it. And it sounds like the US isn't getting the 91s either. So I was a little confused on if those had been delayed, but I think it got confirmed that the 91 Godzilla and Ghidorah both are also delayed for US. So we're going to be seeing the China and the Japanese releases for these within like the next few weeks. I think Godzilla is supposed to be here like soon, or no, God's Box already said that he was getting them. So yeah, within like by the end of the week we should have like IRL pics of both figures. I think the Godzilla ended up turning out really, really, really good. Like the fact that he's way less green, he's really dark. The white on the dorsal plates look good, and the fact that they made the tail insane. It's huge. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. And the Ghidorah, I like everything about the Heyo Ghidorah. Actually, you know what? Let's bring this up. Let me show you what I don't like about the Heyo King Ghidorah. And it's only one thing. It's only one thing, okay? It's only one. Where is it at? This is the Facebook. I wanted to see if someone had posted the photos because it's definitely different from here. Yeah, so this is one of the official photos. I think, and it's weird that I'm saying this because I'm almost never like this when it comes to this type of stuff. I think the tails on the Ghidorah way too big. Way too big. There we go. I think the tails are way too big. And I think the final product, they're even larger too. They're longer, they're thicker. I don't think that looks right. But yeah, and then that's the other thing that I'm not sure about. But Scar King's whip has kind of changed my mind a little bit. The bendy wires and the wings. I don't know how I feel about those either. This is a weird angle for this photo because it makes the waist look much larger than some of these other ones. Oh, the head, yeah, the heads are spot on. I think the wings in this photo look a little tiny, but it might just be that photo. It looks weird. That photo looks really weird. Where's that? Where's this one? I mean, they still kind of look a little tiny right here. A little tiny, but not terrible. But yeah, I think the Godzilla and the Ghidorah for the most part are like knock out of the parks. Yeah, look at that. There's the original one, and here's like a photo of a newer photo of it, where it's darker. OJ, hats off to Heyo. Yeah, they killed it. Yeah, the wings are bendy wires, so it is interesting. We'll see how long that actually holds up. We'll see how long that holds up because bendy wire can be really good and it can also be really, really bad. Yeah, the Ghidorah looks good, and the Godzilla. These are the first two that I'll say like 100%. Like Heyo just killed it. Yeah, this is one of the newer photos. Oh god. Or this is the Atomic Breath one. That's why it already looks different. You can already see from the initial promo photo right here to this photo that they killed the green. Like they were like, oh yeah, that's not right. The coloring's on that is not right. And then the tail's even longer. Like it can go up into this. Oh, dude. Let's see. Can I get a photo of the Godzilla? I wanna see the tail, dude. The tail is just huge. Like I thought this photo was fake. This is 100% the tail. That is actually the tail on that figure. Let's see. I want to be careful about scrolling on Google too much because you never know what you're gonna find on here. Looks like no one's got the in-hand photos of it. Just sad. Yeah, this photo, but we're not gonna go click on this videos. But they look good. They both look good. Oh, there you go. Look at that large tail, dude. Huge. They made it even larger. It's awesome. They nailed it. If I didn't have the rebirth in the 89, I'd grab a Godzilla in a heartbeat. Or what if the US was getting it? Yeah. The 91 has like Shin tail length and long. I think it's even longer. Oh goodness, that's not a good photo. There you go. The 91 has Shin tail. Oh yeah, the 91 has Shin tail length. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, it's about that long. Which, debatable. When it's in the, I think the 89 has a long tail, and then the in the water scenes with 91 also has the longer tail. So I'm all down for it. I was considering actually getting these, the 91s, because they did look that good, but I'm gonna stick to my gut. Just stay with Monster Arts, because I think what's gonna happen is these are gonna end up being in that 7-inch scale like the legendary stuff. And they're going to be too big for the figures, or for the Monster Arts, which would work, but I have the Monster Arts Mecha King Ghidorah, so the Ghidorahs won't even match which is also why I'm not really in a rush to get either of the Monster Arts Heisei Ghidorahs, because neither of the colors really match up with this current the Decisive Battle Mecha King Ghidorah. So I'm kind of waiting for them to release a Decisive Battle, or a Hokkaido Decisive Battle Ghidorah 1991. Someone said the 91 looks like a better sculpt, a sculpt in 89. Yeah, I think it's. I can see the comparisons off the promo photo, but once Heyo posted that video of the 91, like the minute and a half deep dive of what the final product looks like, it I think it outscales the NECA leagues and bounds. I can't compare the Monster Arts and the Heyo because they're two different 91 suits, but I mean, like, I feel like both are pretty close on par with each other. We just have to see those joint tolerances in person, or through reviews and stuff, through reviewers, to make sure. Of course, I'm gonna wait for some of the non sponsored reviewers to post their stuff as well, because with sponsored stuff, sometimes you're not able to be quite as critical as maybe you'd like to, but it is what it is. You never know which companies are which. Which ones are like, you can't say anything bad, you can only say really good things. A new Heisei Ghidorah would be cool, revamped sculpt and engineering, especially the wings, though for a decade old figure. Yeah, I mean, that would be preferred, honestly, getting a brand new mold. But I mean, so we only have 2 of each Ghidorah now, so 2 Mecha King Ghidorah releases, 2 Heiseis. I feel like if they were going to do revamped sculpts, I feel like they would have started with Space Godzilla, but because Space Godzilla needs it. Mecha Godzilla got it. Mogera's perfect, 100% A-OK. People can debate that it can't break off into pieces is kind of a bad thing, but they can just do that as a separate release. So that doesn't bother me. And we need a damaged Mogera as well. Space Godzilla is done with 3 releases. We have all 3 Space Godzillas, but a new 2.0 would be nice. The Batron Mothras, Larvas, Animagos are perfect. I guess they could go back and do for Mondo 91 Ghidorah they tease, but honestly I've fallen away from Mondo, so I think I'll try and strike the Heyo. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that 91 statue's been delayed. I see that the Mondo's actually putting up their Godzilla again. I didn't see anyone asking them about what the tariff situation was going to be, and then it didn't look like their U.S. price or the MSRP had changed, unless I'm mistaken. Unless it was more money, it was $185 on the new post, so maybe it was cheaper initially, because I think they're doing what Super 7's doing, where instead of new products only getting it, they're trying to spread the 145% out across all their products, so everything got a price hike, which debatably is a bad thing, but also at the same time it's like, well, that makes everything only a little bit more expensive rather than every new release being times and 1.45 times more expensive. So basically double and a half. So if that's what Mondo's doing, it's gonna piss some people off. Other people might see it's okay. I don't care for that attack, Peter. The first head looks fine, but the other two, I see I think the frog head is the head that I dubbed the cat eyes. I love the cat eyes look on it personally, but I also know that I'm not buying it as well, so it doesn't really matter. Honestly, what figures do Bandai need a revamp? GMK doesn't need one. All the legendary Godzillas need a revamp. All the legendary kaiju in general need the revamp. Personally, I'll say it. I don't care. I think all the legendary MonsterVerse stuff pre New Empire, even Kong needs an update. All the regular Godzilla, all the legendary Godzillas, so 2014, 2019, 21, 24, you can bunch that all into one release. Um, most of the Heisei stuff is fine. Besides, you could debate the Ghidorahs need it. I think Space Godzilla needs like a tried and true like suit accurate sculpt. GMK is fine. I think the Kiryu Goji will get upgraded with the Tokyo SOS version that'll eventually, at some point, come out. I'm kind of shocked it hasn't already. I mean, Jet Jaguar could already use a 2.0, but that's just me personally, maybe. -1's fine. I love SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla. I think Shin Godzilla, like, just for the sake of argument, could use a 2.0. Oh, the Showa Godzilla pre-72. Everything besides 62. Yeah. Well, not 54. 54 is in scale. 54 is supposed to be basically one of the most smaller Godzillas. So 54 is fine. But yeah, 64 needs it. And then 62 is actually in scale with everything as far as I'm aware. It's I think proper too. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but like when you consider like actually how many I didn't name off, there's more that I didn't name off than that. Because I mean, like, I didn't say any singular points. Didn't mention. Oh, okay. Here's another one. This one needs it bad, legitimately, because the engineering is dog shit. Monster X needs a 2.0. Monster X needs a 2.0. I'ma say it. Maybe this is a hot take. Gigan left alone. I know Gigan is stylized. I think the stylization on Final Wars Gigan is perfect. It's fine. You know, if the teeth really bother someone, shave them down yourself, or send it to many of the sculptors and painters in the community. I'm sure they could do it for a pretty cheap price. But like Earth doesn't need it. Shin is only for debate, because I would like a Shin that can actually look upwards, but they might never do that. So like, you know, that's one of the things where it's like, that would be cool, but also probably not likely. Basically none of the Millenniums need it, besides Monster X. Kiryu Goji will get it with the Tokyo SOS, because it's going to have to mostly be a brand new mold. 72 Gigan's great. I don't see the issue with 72. I mean, the wings were always going to be fragile, so I think personally, you know, that doesn't bother me too much. I would rather that, you know, them be the way they are than not move, but I know for some people at this point they would rather, you know, not risk the fall. So, and that's where I'm kind of fortunate, where I have a pretty sturdy shelf to where that Gigan should never have to take a dive. I've got it placed kind of in the back. So, but yeah, I think Gigan's fine. Oh, Bandai. Yeah. We're just talking mostly Monster Arts, not Bandai. Bandai Movie Monster Series, there we go. Movie Monster Series needs a lot of love. Even I don't know if the 72 necessarily needs it. What they need to do, though, they need to do a 73. I don't know what Toho has against letting people do 73 Gigan, or Zone Fighter Gigan, you know, whichever one you want to call it. 73 needs to happen. It's underappreciated. The fact that the Gigabrain is basically the only actually true 73 Gigan mold. Does Shin have an anniversary? Shin's anniversary is next year. 10th anniversary. I was thinking, being honest, I think we're gonna get a brand new Fourth Night Combat version Awakening, or we're gonna get a orthochromatic Awakening, and maybe first form and second form we're gonna get a reissue. I was hoping, there's still a part of me that hopes. I have no one with insider knowledge that could even give me some actual hope. I think the lights and sound Shin Godzilla needs to be released next year, that they teased 9 years ago, or 10 years ago, I think, actually. The Kyok Shin Godzilla could finally see the light of day next year. maybe. It would be way more expensive than it would have been 8 years ago. Because I think what the Kyo 89 was 100, right? It was like 100 something, 150, 140. This Shin Godzilla easily going to be a $300 figure if they do it. One, because it's huge. The light up in it, which was what I've been told is one of the main issues on why it didn't get released, hey, Bubba, is because the light up. You know, it's kind of like X Plus didn't do light up Shins until recently, and that's because you have to plug them into the wall. So I would wonder what this Kyo Shin Godzilla would have to do to be able to light up the way it needs to. I want a 73 Gigan so bad. It's it's my personal favorite version. Oh, nice. I grew up on both 72 and 73, so that needs to come out definitely. The engineering would be nuts. See, and that's the thing with the Kyo Shin is that engineering wise, it was basically the same exact Shin Godzilla Monster Earth mold, but just blown up, is what it looked like. And then it looked like they increased, which is kind of crazy to say, they increased the size of the tail a little bit. They made it a little bit longer, gave it a few extra joints, so it could be even more posable. But yeah, it'd basically be the same, because I know the one thing it definitely couldn't do, it couldn't look up. That's none of the Monster Art Shins have been able to, or fourth form Shins have been able to look up, which it should be able to do because it needs to be able to do it. That's just that isn't a fact. That is a fact that the Shin should be able to look up at least a little bit, and the fact that he can't at all is a little disappointing. But hopefully they would re-engineer it, and then we could get that, and then we could get. It's kind of like the 74 Sola Chigoken. I'm hoping they just scale it down, give it even more articulation when they take out all the sounds and the electronics, and then they give us a Monster Arts release of that same exact mold. Maybe tweak a few things. I think the head's a little fat, but you know, that's up for debate, and maybe that would be fixed when all the lights and sounds pieces are all taken out in the toy aspects of it, the Chigoken parts. So then they could scale that down, so we could get an actual in scale 74 Mechagodzilla, because the original release, although is nice, really doesn't stack up. Hedorah needs it too, because Hedorah needs a larger figure. The Hedorah is great, but it is not the correct size. Okay. Damn, we went on a super long Monster Arts conversation, which is great because I kind of had a few ideas for stream, but this worked out perfectly. One thing I do want to talk about, let me get the photo here. Shin Ultraman here. I watched this last night. I listened to most of the soundtrack while I was messing around with a few things last night. I was watching some Pokemon Nuzlocke, playing with some toys a little bit, you know, just testing things, kind of trying to figure out what my next non-new release review is going to be. Probably going to be an Ultraman Kaiju. We'll see, though. But I watched Shin Ultraman again, and holy moly, if you guys haven't seen this movie yet, I would definitely make sure to go check it. I would buy it. I would recommend buying it. This movie is absolutely fantastic. Dude, I love this. Is 100% a love letter to I would say all of Ultraman, but like 66. It's out of the movies I would really like to see a sequel for, and it should. I mean, this and Shin Kamen Rider are the two of the three live action Shin universe movies that need sequels, or not needs it, but would really benefit from it, especially because like there's so much missing from this movie. Like no Baltan, no Gamora, no Red King, no Gyros. It's kind of like, it's crazy, you know. And like if they do a second one, they can just do the same skit with Gomez, but with Gyros, you know, but just use like -1 or something, you know, something crazy. Like, could you imagine Shin Ultraman 2, Gyros is in it, and it's like a -1 with a frill? Like, oh my god. Or even if it was just Shin Godzilla with a frill, like, it doesn't really matter which Godzilla design they use. Of course, it'd probably be better to use Shin, because all these movies are connected in some way, shape, or form. Oh man, peak. Yeah. It would be so cool. It would be so cool. And then I mean, there's more. You know, I would love to see Jamila, a really tough take to do in a movie, because I mean, Jamila could almost be its own movie. You know, even with Red King, because that's on Monster. You know, their Monster Island of sorts. You know, that could be its whole movie as well. But damn, dude, the way that they make like the episodic feel just kind of flow with this movie is kind of crazy. Like, you know, you get the first two kaiju, you know, you get Naranga, thankfully, you know, and Gabora, and then immediately moving into wow, brain fart. Give me a second. I need a drink. Zareb, by the way, is who I'm talking about. You move into Zareb, then you move into Mephiles, and then you move into the ending. Which I'm gonna say a hot take. Yeah, and Dada too. Yeah, the fact that Dada's not in here, or Bemular. Yeah, Bemular is crazy. Not even mentioned. Which, I mean, I'll say that about figure arts as well. The fact that we don't have Naranga, the fact that we don't have Bemular is insane. But that's kind of like, and this is a live stream I want to do, is like top, like maybe top 10 like SH figure arts releases that I expect for next year. Because next year is Ultraman's big anniversary. We're talking 60th anniversary for Ultra Q and Ultraman 66, because they were both released in 66. So I think like Figuarts, Bandai, just Ultraman in general, I feel like is going to be, and even the Ultraman show next year is going to be insane. I got a feeling. But that's the video discussion I want to do for Monster Arts. It's like, or not Monster Arts, Figuarts Ultraman is like, there's some big Showa kaiju releases from 66 and Ultra Q that aren't out yet, that it's like within like the next few months to the year, I feel like we're gonna get, or by the end of, or you know, middle of 2027, because technically anniversary releases go all the way through like basically the end of the beginning, the year prior, and then they go halfway through the next year when it comes to releases. Is there a Shin Ultraman figure arts? Oh yeah. Yep, there is. There's a few. There's two of them. Well, technically there's three. There's regular Shin Man, which is pretty common. Just go to the Japanese sites. Go to Mandarake. Yeah, I think Nin Games has them for cheap. Amazon's got it for $68. If you order it from Japan, you can get it for like $30, $30, $60. Well, it's probably gonna be $60 after shipping. But what I'm doing, the reason why I don't have the figure arts, well, one is because I liked the height and the articulation of the Mafex, so I got the first one and I never got the 2.0. But that's all the Mafex did, was 1 and 2. I'm gonna buy, once I'm in a stable position financially, I'm gonna just buy all the Shin Men SHF figures together. So yeah, so there's Shin Man, there's regular, and then there's first contact version where he's just all silver. There's the emit or fake Shin Man. There's Mephiles, and then there's Shin Zeton. 5 releases, I think. I think there's only 5, because they don't have a low energy, which is like the green. I guess the figure arts didn't sell too well. I know Zeton did not sell well, because you can get Zeton for like $50 on Mandarake, brand new. There's one right now, I think that's only like $43, but I don't quote me, I believe it's the largest box out of any SHF and SH Monster Arts, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's larger than Mecha King Ghidorah's, and Mecha King Ghidorah's box is ridiculously. So but I'm just gonna buy all of them at once. Chose to use also with no timer and no voice. Oh, I saw Ultraman from the teaser back. See, I do understand why people are like, oh, no color timer. Instead, you know, like his whole body changes color. But like that's also kind of like, that's definitely an Anno that's definitely an Anno and Higuchi thing and change, which I can respect that. You know, the not having a voice is weird, but then like, or like an attack noise, I guess, is weird. but like, you know, like he doesn't have a voice technically. You got Blazar that's making like these super weird, crazy animal noises. Like, I don't mind it because it sticks them out from watching it from like all the other Ultramen. There's not many Ultramen that deviate from having the noise, and even like if you listen to Omega, at least from the trailer and the teaser that we have, Omega has 66's like noise built into it a little bit, and it's just kind of like, oh, it's cool. It's a cool reference, but also at the same time, it's like, oh well, you're using 66 again. You know, it's kind of, you could say the same thing about Godzilla, where it's always like, oh, no new roars. It's mainly just the old roars mixed together and then down-pitched, digitally edited. So it's like, I don't mind companies doing that because, one, it's cool. It hits the nerd side of me. But also at the same time, it's like, I do, eventually I want something different. It's like, how many times is Five Finger Death Punch going to release the same sounding album over and over and over and over and over again before they make a difference? They did it with Fate. I will 100% argue that album sounds so different than any other albums from the first two, and then every single album since then has been the same damn sound since American Capitalists and Righteous Side, Volume 1 and 2. Where it's literally, it sounds like the same guitars, same tunings, same filters and everything. They literally sound like the same album. So I'm hoping this next album sounds way different. And then they re-recorded Way of the Fist too. I'm kind of scared for that, honestly, because I think the classic, more like thrashy feel to it is fine. But hopefully they change that one line in Way of the Fist, because even now, like, even when I first listened to that song, I was like, why are you using that one word? Why? But it is 2007, so it is what it is. Shin Zeton is not Zeton. What a crook. See, but I think like his take on it, I was gonna say this a few seconds ago. I think Shin Zeton, every time I watch this film, makes more and more sense to me. Like, yes, it is disappointing not getting like an actual like Zeton kaiju, but like then I think about how many forms of Zeton there are. There's Hyper Zeton, there's it's in Ultra Galaxy, one of the Ultra Galaxy YouTube short or specials, where they get all the Zetons, all of them in one spot, and it's like once they're all in the same spot and you see them kind of together, it's really cool, but also like they're not really super unique from each other. So it's like to have this one Zeton still being, what is supposed to be one of the most dangerous or the most dangerous thing in this universe, but also being different, more like a fortress, which still lines up with what Zeton is supposed to be, kind of like a living, destructional fortress. Excuse me, I think it fits. I think it fits, but at the same time, like, I understand that it's not for everyone, because I know, Alex, you and a lot of people have that opinion that Zeton is probably one of the downsides of the movie, and that's absolutely a-okay. I do understand, but I think, for me personally, I just feel like the more times I watch it, I think I get it a little bit more. I get the more of what Anno likes to do, where it's like it's more about the symbolism of what the scene is supposed to mean, where it's like there's not another kaiju that they really, or an alien even, a Seijin, that they could fit into that spot that would make sense for what that scene's spiritually supposed to mean. And that's, the humans are just learning that they're not, they're so basic compared to the rest of the universe. But even then, kind of like Shin Godzilla, it's the same theme as Shin Godzilla, that we might be outclassed, we might be outmatched, but we should never stop trying to do what's right and do anything that we can for the survival. And I feel like with that in mind, I think Shin Zeton makes a little bit more sense, but at the same time, that's all opinion as well. So Anno's always got to have his own unique spin on something, and that's cool. Yeah, which I know the base writing for Shin Man was Anno, but I'm pretty sure Higuchi took a little bit more over in this film, Kind of like, I think Higuchi's barely, if at all, touched Shin Kamen Rider, and that was mostly Ano. I think these two films are flipped, but yeah, it's basically Ano and Higuchi. I like it. It's different. It's not for everyone though as well. I feel like I wanna do a live stream where I specifically only talk about the Shin movies. And maybe it might not even just be the Shin movies. It might be Higuchi, the movies that I've seen of Higuchi and Ano. So that way, the Heisei trilogy from Gamera, GMK, Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider, the Shin Evangelion movies, Shin 1, 2, 3, and 4, or if you know them from their English titles, Rebirth or Rebuild of Evangelion 1.11, 2.22, 3.33, 1.0 plus 3.0, 4.0, Thrice Upon a Time, is doing a live stream where I talk about all these films and really like compare them, because like in ways they're the themes and like even the climaxes are all the same, because like you could say that for the fourth Shin Eva movie fits in with the ending theme of Shin Godzilla and Shin Ultraman, and even Shin Mass Rider, although I do feel like that's a little bit different of a theme personally. But I would go through and actually literally sit down and rewatch these before doing a stream like this, and this would take time because I have to take notes and stuff, you know. So, and then I want other people in on the discussion as well, not just me. But it's something I kind of thought of doing last night since I watched this film, which is funny. I forgot this anniversary is literally in 6 days. 6 days, so I'll probably be watching again. But I was shocked at how just oh man, dude, Shin Ultraman is amazing. I love this movie. I love all three Shin. I love all three Shin movies. It's getting yeah, the Godzilla screams in 20 years. Yeah, because the last one, well, even half of the Millennium ones aren't really new either. I know they technically are, but they're mostly the same thing. It's getting old. I love how the roars from each era all have different roars, and you just know them by the roar. Yeah, it's true. And then even like Heisei, like all the half the roars are different in Heisei. So like it's the 84 roars, the 89 and the 91 are kind of the similar. You know, you could put kind of those three together, and then 92 through 95 are all kind of different roars as well. Also really fun. I do enjoy it. I hope I got a string on my jacket. I gotta cut it off. It's gonna bother me if I if I sit here. Once I feel a string, I have to cut it off. But I agree. I agree that the roars are cool, and I hope we do get new roars. You know, I was pleasantly surprised with -1 and the use of the Showa roars and kind of almost like, you know, the 84-esque like deep like flow it has, where it kind of starts out kind of mid-range and then I'll get like that, you know. I love that, you know. And that's the music guy in me that really likes slow, well, it doesn't have to be slow, I just love breakdowns and stuff. So like you get that chunky stuff, that chunky noise. I love it. I also like peelies and squealies though as well. So, you know, the high pitched Godzilla roars, kind of like Shin. Shin has more higher pitched Showa roars than anything, in my opinion. And I like that. I do like that. So, music designer in me, it's like, ooh man, they can keep messing with these roars because they normally just kind of like they pitch change it, and that. It's good too, but it would be nice to hear a new Godzilla roar. It's been since 2014 for a new roar for the franchise in general, but then for Toho, want to make a new roar. I love the chunkiness. I don't know, so I can't comment. I thought the intention was always to only use the 54 roars, since it's kind of supposed to be, you know, kind of not a redo of 54, but like the start. You know, this is a new bring up for Godzilla, like Shin Godzilla, you know, where 54 has no attachment to, which most of the films don't really do that. 54 is almost always attached to, but hey, you know, -1 is getting a -2 or whatever it's going to be called. So, you know, we'll see. I think You know, it would be cheesy to do -2, but if there's two or more kaiju in -2, I feel like that just makes sense because they can be like, oh, Japan's at 0, and then Godzilla arrives. They're at -1, and then it's like, oh, Godzilla's alive, revived, and there's another kaiju. Oop, -2. You know, double bad. So, I'm interested. I'm crazy hyped about this next Toho film. I am. Did it need it? No, but I am. Maybe it's the Shin Godzilla fan and the Shin, the Anno fan and the Higuchi fan in me that normally is deprived of sequels, no matter how badly they're wanted and desired. It is really hard to get Anno specifically to do sequels because the man struggles with, mental illness and like always feeling like the films will never live up to the next one. It's why Shin Eva 4 took so long. They literally finished the film, did a few tests, like in studio test runs of the whole film or most of the films. They didn't land well. They started the film back up from scratch after they worked on it for 2.5 years, or like a year and a half, something like that, something crazy. More details on that. Netflix has a documentary for Eva Film 4. I would recommend, even if you're not an Evangelion fan, if you guys want to get to know Anno, because it's all about Anno. It's not even really about the film. It's more about Anno. You want to get to know Anno a little bit, understand why Shin Godzilla kind of is the way it is, Shin Man, Shin Kamen Rider, even though those films weren't out yet. Shin Man and Shin Kamen Rider. I don't even think Shin Ultraman was announced yet by the time that documentary came out. It's on Prime. So I would recommend checking it out. It's a 2-episode special. I think each episode's like almost an hour long. It's really it's necessary if you really want to understand Anno. So I recommend. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So like, oh shit. What the hell was I saying? I just lost it. Dude, boom, I get lost in a little bit of heat of passion and it just completely, it's going to be a direct sequel. Yeah. Oh yeah. So talking about -2, quote unquote, it's exciting to actually, well, one, it's exciting for a Japanese Godzilla film to get a sequel, a true tried and true sequel. That's not animated. And then 2, like -1 out of all of them is kind of like one of the ones where it's like, did we really need a sequel? And I would say, even though I am excited for the film -1 to get a sequel, it isn't necessary. Oops. Whoa, that was weird. It didn't need it, so I'm excited to see what they do. And there is a part of me that's like, well, maybe we might be let down. I am getting a little bit more critical as I get older, a little bit more, well, I'm getting even more pessimistic is what I should say. I'm like that with music now. I'm used to be like, I mentioned it earlier, Five Finger Death Punch. I used to just eat all those albums up. Afterlife came out. I listened to it for like a few weeks maybe, and I try to go and re-listen to it. I don't even make it through, not because it's bad, but it's just the same sounding shit over and over again. And same thing with movies. I'm getting a little bit more aged on me, so I'm interested to see what they do. Yeah, if it'll fall Shikishima or there'll be a time skip. I hope there's a time skip, regardless if it's Shikishima or not, or Noriko, whoever we're gonna follow, or if we're even gonna see the OG cast, which 90% sure we will. I'm almost 100% sure we're for sure gonna see our main cast. I'm not gonna use everyone's names because honestly, there's so many characters across all the things that I follow. Especially getting back into Halo and Star Wars. Like, I have so many. I have a lot of issues remembering names. So it's not that I disrespect or don't pay attention to the movie, but I'm not going to remember everyone. But Shikishima for sure. We're going to have Noriko, I'm sure. We're going to have the kid, Aiko, I believe. We're going to have Doc, we're going to have Cap, and then we're going to have the kid as well. I think for sure those 5 will be in it. I would hope. especially because I have some conspiracy theories on Doc, um, and the end of that film. You know that I have talked about in past streams, so we won't go into it here. But I think we'll see the main five, even if there is a time skip. But it would be super cool to launch through. It's in the 40s, so it would be cool to see, you know, even if it's the 50s, 60s. I feel like 60s because I feel like everyone, or Shikishima and Noriko, feel like they're like late teens, early 20s maybe. I'm not completely sure on like what you know, what pilots were back in Japan, World War II time, what year they, or you know, what age they made him start and when they would send him out on missions. I would guess he's at least like in that 17 to 18 range. I mean, he's drinking, so I think even like old Japan, I'm sure he still had to be at least like 16 or 18. So I would guess that they're close to adults, if not like adults. So like if it's 20 years, you know, the captain, he might be too old, or maybe passed away. Doc is definitely going to be old, but then you got our young kids, who would be, you know, adults, you know, older than me. You know, they would be into their 30s, and maybe even their 40s, and I feel like that would be cool as well. But then also, you know, everything going on with Noriko, you know, maybe that wouldn't make sense either. So, but I mean, hey, Evangelion was able to do it between 2.0 to 3.33, 2.22 and between 3.33, like a time skip, especially a time skip that kind of seems like out of nowhere, or at least I think they were able to do it. I know some people don't. So like, you know, they could do it too. Yamazaki's good at period pieces, so it'd be cool to see him tackle another period. But if it has to be within like only a year or two, like if it's 50, or if it's like 47, 48, 49, hell, like I said, even if it was 50s, like they could just go and be like, oh, it's 54 now, and it's like, okay, well now you're, you know, sacred year in the Godzilla community. So I would be curious to see how people would react if it's like, oh, it's 1954 now. I would be interested. I'll say that. A couple decades of peace, and then Godzilla rises again with a kaiju. Darker 60s film would be six. Yeah, I agree. Or even like early 70s, that Hedorah. You know, if he's going to use Hedorah, you know, time skip it to 71. You know, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. You know, and that's kind of what, you know, it's a love letter to the Godzilla, franchise and the character. So I feel like, yeah, if he did an exact year, especially like whatever he's fighting, especially if it's a Showa kaiju, if you can land on the exact year, I feel like you're gonna get a lot of you're gonna get a lot of hate, but you're also gonna get a lot of love from people as well. So I'd be curious to see what he does. I'm all for it though. You know, I'm all for it. Some people aren't, and that's 100% a-okay. But I'm personally very excited to see what might be coming out of this film. Hopefully we get it next year. Interestingly enough, this isn't confirmed, so don't take the, or maybe this was confirmed and I slept through everyone posting it. There's a rumor that the next Legendary film is actually getting delayed a year into 2028. And as of right now, as far as my understanding goes, there's a deal with Legendary and Toho that a Toho film and a Legendary film can't come out within the same year. If New Empire is getting pushed a year, one, that's the typical thing that happens with these Legendary films. They always get pushed back a year or two. But that would also maybe suggest to me that maybe this sequel isn't coming out. I had a really strong suspicion that it would be out next year. It would come out 2026. But if Legendary's film is truthfully, which once again, don't know if it is, so take it as a grain of salt. If it is delayed, if that means that the Toho film is getting put to 2027. Could be, could not be as well, you know. What I do know, I feel like the argument against that is that if they're doing sequels for the -1 universe, and let's say -2 does not quite as, let's say like critically as good, but it does good commercially, it gains them a lot of money, mostly positive, and we basically a third movie is basically expected, I would assume that they'd probably want to release it in 2020 by 2029, which is the 75th anniversary for Godzilla. It'll be the next big anniversary year. It's always in fives. It's every decade and every 5 years are normally the big ones, and I feel like 75 is going to be big. I've had a lot of friends tell me that the last few years. Even leading up into the 70th, it's like, if you're not able to, celebrate the 70th, go to Japan, well, then just save for the 75th in year 2029, because that's going to probably be another big year. The zeros and the 5 dates are always big. And I would agree. I would agree with my friends that have said that, Adam Thirsty Toys, he's big into believing that, which I would agree. 65th was a big year for Godzilla. 55th was crazy as well. A little bit. Not quite as crazy because Godzilla was kind of in hibernation, but it led up into Shin, Singular Point, and 2014 being basically, conceptualized and birthed. So, it is what it is. A few years after that. A few years after. Because Shin started in like 2011, 2012, 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Singular Point started before Shin. That's a fact, which is kind of crazy that the planning for Singular Point was before that. And then 2014, I think, was like in digestion. I mean, it had been in digestion for a long time, but I think it was like 2011, 2012 is when it really started to gain its footing, or 2010, excuse me. So I was wondering then, in fact, if Toho are trying to spearhead the -1 sequel for 2026, which is crazy. Yeah. And that's why me and a few other people would probably say 2026 is likely. They were able to release -1 really quickly. Like, if we look, like, we don't know necessarily what the draft and the writing process would look like, which is the one thing that's kind of throwing a wrench in any like realistic estimation, because we didn't know what that was like for -1. We have estimates and stuff, but we don't really know how long that took Yamakasi. Yamazaki, oh my goodness. Yamazaki, how long it took him. So, but then like filming was in like they did filming, some of it in 2023 and in 2024, like at the beginning of the year, and then the film still came out. Like, they announced it just 1 year beforehand. So it's like they kind of did this, last year, and then they kind of did it more this year. So to me, it makes sense that there would be, for this anniversary, for the 71st anniversary, that they would make the full, like, this is what it's called, or this is what it's going to be, like the full opening of it, and it would release sometime in 2026, maybe summer, to go along with Shin's anniversary, because like Toho's 2 for 2 for batting, when it comes to like Godzilla. Like, -1 toy wise is doing not quite as good as Shin Godzilla, but the film made more money, and it's -1 is doing much better overseas, everywhere else in the world. But like, Shin was huge in Japan, so but I would say there's been a lot of -1 stuff, which is good. It's great. It's great to see a Godzilla film have a ton of product, because when there's a ton of product, even though it's the same character over and over and over again, that means Toho is making money, and that probably means more is coming. So, which is why I'll always recommend to people who end up not liking a film and, kind of getting sick of seeing the same design over and over again, they're doing that because it sells well. Shin still gets new releases, new version exclusives, whether it's Monster Arts X Plus, Bandai. The reason Shin keeps getting these things is because Shin sells, period. Shin is, for a better case of word, a piggy bank for Toho. If Toho's doing bad, they just drop, they tell all the toy companies and the statue companies, Fubi companies, release a few Shin Godzillas, and boom, money. The CCPs that are coming out, There's already 6 of them. Six Shins. 3 different molds for Shin Godzilla. What CCP release has that many besides Hedorah? Not many, especially not in the middle size. So, yeah, Shin is a money-making machine. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's my favorite because, one, a lot of Shin comes out, which is like, oh, a lot of Shin is coming out, but also my wallet is like a lot of Shin's coming out. So it's like, it's kind of nice not being a only Shin Godzilla collector, because I was still going to be broke 9 out of 12 months a year, because there's a Shin almost every single month. Almost. Not every single month, but most of them. So, but yeah. Shin Ultraman, Shin Godzilla, man. I love them. Fact is, if you guys haven't seen Shin Ultraman, go check it out. It gets my stamp of approval. I don't think it's streaming free anywhere. I think there's a few places that you can start a trial and you can watch it. So as long as you cancel your trial for a subscription service, you should get it. But I think some of them, I think it's on YouTube, actually. Let me bring up YouTube real quick. Let's see, Shin Ultraman. I'll type it up and then I'll show you guys what I see. Oh, I just did Shin Man on accident. Let's see. Oh, okay. Fun. Okay. There you go. Shin Ultraman is free with ads on YouTube. I didn't know that. Because it's, I think with Prime, you have to have a subscription. So you could free trial it, technically. And I think that's it. Even though it's weird that Prime has Shin Man, or Shin Kamen Rider, but they don't have Shin Ultraman. So, which it doesn't say. It's using the English poster, but that doesn't always necessarily mean it's the dub. So that might be. Hopefully that's sub with subtitles. It's not quite as subtitle filled as Shin Godzilla. So if you weren't a fan of all the subtitles in the movie, it isn't quite that bad. So yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that post is doing good. Thank you guys. But yeah, hopefully Gamera's here soon. I'm gonna bring up the YouTube channel because I gotta do one thing. I gotta do as a YouTuber, and I do apologize. I know some people don't like this. I do gotta self-advertise, so I'm gonna just have some of my videos up, or some of my videos just here. If you guys are watching the stream, you haven't checked out any of these and maybe missed a notification. Well, I checked to see if Gamera's out of customs yet. Gamera's not out of customs yet. USPS still saying delivery is today, by the way. It was super weird. I don't know what they're on. I'm going to take a drink really quick, guys. Whew. Okay. So, Shin Man. Talked about that. Oops. Shit. What else? You gotta hit me up on the Scar video. Yeah, check it out. It's pretty good. I'm pretty down the middle on that video. I feel like out of a lot of my my Monster Arts reviews, I feel like these two, my Shimo and my Scar King videos, I feel like I'm very fair with them. I feel like, I mean, even the same with the Heat Ray, but I did the Heat Ray so late that it's, I didn't do too well, which is fine. It was super late. I should have uploaded that. I should have made a review for it when I got it, because I was still like a month and a half late, but it probably would have done better. But it is what it is. Look at all these Safubi videos. Doing good. Dude, crazy. I miss having these, dude. I miss having my Safubi fix. I miss my X Plus. I had to sell all 3 of my 30 centimeters this week, or last week. One of them already got to the new owner. They're very happy with it, that the red light up, so I'm happy for them. But yeah, be prepared for articulated heaven or hell, depending on how you guys are in the community. I'm really trying not to do a third Ultraman video right here, but I would say that the likelihood of it being King is probably pretty high if I don't get Gamera within the next by Friday. If I don't have Gamera by Friday, I'm gonna have to upload a review. So, because I'm already 7 days out, yeah, YouTube is gonna be super pissed with me. So it is what it is. But yeah, so I just tapped the shelf, but nothing fell over. Thankfully. I've been working really hard at making sure my poses have been stabilized, because I bump this thing all the damn time. It's why I'm excited to get into a financially more comfortable spot so I can start to how do I say, I can start to rearrange. I can get more of these shelves mainly, so I can get them across the room because these plastic shelves aren't going to be here after too much longer. So because if I'm only collecting articulated figures and most of them are humanoids, they need to have flat, stable shelves to stand on. And these wood ones, this wood / metal one has been very, very nice. So, what else? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of it for me. Like, I had like a few more things that I was gonna talk about, but like, I didn't get to go see Sinners yesterday. Girlfriend worked, so she wants to go see it. So I'm waiting until she doesn't work a Tuesday, so her and I can go see it on a discount day. Plan is to also go see Until Dawn as well, movie wise. Otherwise, I'm not seeing anything until Lilo and Stitch at the end of the month. Her and I will also go to that. I don't know if I'm going to see it right away. Not for sure yet. I might wait until it's on a Tuesday discount. So, that's movie wise. Oh yeah, go see it, man. Sinners. Yeah. See, I keep telling her that, and she's like, I don't know. Like, isn't it kind of suspicious that everyone's saying it's good? It's like, no. If everyone is saying this movie is like basically perfect, that means this movie is probably basically perfect. So no, we're gonna go see it. And plus it's vampires, which is like, it's so weird that she's kind of being hesitant on vampire things because she loves vampire movies. But hey, it is what it is. I'm sure when we go see it, she is gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. I'm very excited for it. So unboxings. So that's that was one thing at the very beginning of the stream that we were talking about that I kind of forgot. So yeah, we have Gamera coming up hopefully with the next few days. We have the Ami Ami box, which I just found out the other day that Golden Week vacation for Japan just ended today on the 7th this year. So that's why my Ami Ami box hasn't been shipped yet, which, it might spell disaster for me because that might get hit with tariffs. Hopefully not, but we'll see. So there's those two. And then I got my final Amazon box for a little bit. I know I said that last time, but this is the last one. I saw a few things that were like high priorities that were like running out of stock. And here's the thing with these tariffs, the things that it's kind of important to mention this. Even at places like Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, like these figures that have been in stock for the last year or so that get reissued a lot, that they just keep getting. They aren't getting reissues anymore. They're not going to be getting restocks. Once Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon are out of things, those things are gone. Whether they're new, old, or not, it doesn't matter. Once Amazon and Big Bad Toy Store and other larger companies are out of stock on some of these things, that's it. They will not be, as long as the tariff stuff is still up, they will not be getting restocks on anything. So I do say, final Amazon box, but like if I start seeing some of the other like really cheap Ultraman, like especially like some of the Showa guys going like low stock, hopefully I'll be financially a better financial spot at that point to where I'll be a little bit more comfortable to grab those, because I did grab a few things, and one of them is a new thing that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have to worry about this for a while, and then Amazon's like, hey, 10 left, this is all we're getting, we're not getting a restock on these. I was like, oh well, I guess I have to order it now. So my plan is, with that in mind, my plan is now I'm not going to get Tsuko and Mothra, the Monster Art set. I'm not going to get those right away as long as I can help it. I'm going to wait those out. I'm going to wait for a sale because they haven't dropped under retail yet. Which, admittingly, out of all of the sets, I feel like 90 for both of them isn't the worst, seeing as good as Tsuko seems to be. But, if I could get it cheaper, I would rather wait till I can get it cheaper. So I'm going to be focusing on some of the older things. So like every day I'm watching speaking of which, yeah, we can do this. Screw it. don't care. Oh, not Prime Video. Let's see. You guys could see that I was looking up a few things on here. Let's see. Oh, hey, look at that. Shimo dropped $5, or not Shimo. Iris dropped $5. Nice. Oh, well, oops. So yeah, there she is. I clicked on her just to make sure. Yeah, she dropped in price. So, pretty damn cool, honestly. Pretty damn cool. Not much, only $5, but hey, $5 is $5. Especially with a release that's like that. But I'm hoping she'll drop even more when it comes down to when it gets to Prime days in July. If there'll even be Prime sales, now maybe all the corporations are going to be like, oh, well, there's tariffs, so now we're not going to do sales. So maybe the thing will be, oh, we're just going to take the hit for tariffs for you guys, something like that. I don't know what's going to happen, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like items like that, I'm going to try to wait out as long as I can, hopefully. Like Iris, one of those things, I would really like to get her under $200 if I could. And I'm not going to get her for that low from Japan unless I go to Japan. And I've been told she's not exactly hard to find, but she's also not easy to find too. It's like, oh, there's going to be a few there or there's going to be none there. So, can't plan a trip around grabbing one toy, But, I would also like to get her pretty soon too. So I have a ton of things that I'm watching that are low stock across different sites. I got a few things from Beasts of the East. Like I said, we got to support these our smaller toy figure not collectors, but shops. They've got quite a few Monster Arts and a few Ultraman things that I am watching. Obviously, I'll be going to, I'm trying to go to G-Fest, so I would, might be able to pick up a few things there, but I don't 100% know if I'm going to make it to G-Fest yet still. How the rest of this month really goes. I put in like 5 or 10 job applications in yesterday and this morning, just picking at straws. I might be working at the movie theater part-time, which isn't really a bad job. It's not a job that I've done before. I just really don't, one, it doesn't pay very much, but like it would be a good secondary job to get, and then I can go get another part-time job somewhere else, or full-time. I was told Walmart's supposed to be hiring for the spot that I wanted now this month, so we'll actually see if I get an email from them. They said that sometime in May they wanted to hire for my spot. I was like, okay, that's the only spot. It's the only position I want because it's the one that I can watch my health in. So hopefully they actually open it up. And they might not, though. It is whatever. It's not like I'm really excited to go back to Walmart, but they pay really well. So like, it's a win-win, and I get to stay within my my health range for lifting and stuff. So like, it's a plus. We got to do what we got to do, brother. Yeah, we're just out here making it. Yeah. Yep. It's true. That's all we can do. Is just do our best. So, but yeah, there's a ton of things that I would like to get this next few months. And hey, if tariffs take on full effect or get worse, I was talking with Thirsty Thursday Toys, like, hey, saving for Japan, making a Japan trip is even easier, because if I can't afford tariffs on my pre-orders, it means I have to cancel all my pre-orders, which means the main thing that I'm spending money on once a month, twice a month, disappears. Boom, there, all that money, all that pre-order money, just boom, right back into my pocket. I don't have to worry about it at a later date. Makes it easier to save for Japan and just do hey, we're going to Japan, we're picking up all the monsters, all the figure arts that we've missed out on, that we can, which is kind of scary, because like there's definitely some that, regardless of how tariffs are, I'm probably gonna risk it for the biscuit. Things like Daima Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku, probably not gonna see that in Japan if I go in like February, or January, whenever I would go. Probably February still. It's cheap. February seems to be like the actual cheapest month to go in. It's either February, August, or September. September it starts to kind of go on the rise. So, but now that I'm going more than likely solo to Japan, one, it would be a shorter trip. Health wise, I have to make it a shorter trip, so I wouldn't go for like 10, 12, 13 days. I would just go for 5 maybe. So that saves on hotel, and then not being in a group, so not renting an Airbnb, but also not splitting the cost. So I end up paying more for the hotel that I'd rent, or if I were to find like an Airbnb that's meant for like 1 or 2 people. So I'd end up losing money there. But at the same time, for myself, people don't have to worry about me. It's just I gotta watch myself. That's the fun thing, is like I wouldn't be a burden then. With health stuff, if my health stuff gets worse, then better. But hey, if there's a place to have a health emergency, I feel like Japan's probably one of the top places to do it. I believe they're like one of the top medical countries in the world, like for practice. Like if there's a place that you want to get sick in, or like be on deathbed, probably Japan, because I know it's cheap. Even if you don't have global insurance, it's supposed to be pretty cheap, all things considered. So that's if I'm gonna have an emergency anywhere, might as well be Japan, as long as I'm not carrying all my monster arts and figure arts with me. So it'll be fun. It'll be a lot more kind of regrettably laid back trip than with the group, but at the same time, they're gonna go have fun. And then wouldn't surprise me, Japan has a lot of social qualities. Yeah, they do. They're gonna have fun, and then I'm gonna try to have fun my own way. The only thing I'm really stressed out about, honestly, is the thing that I look forward to the most in Japan is Awaji Island, because there's a lot of travel, there's a lot of walking, there's a lot of standing, which as of right now are not my most exciting things I have to do as a person. So it's one of those things, which getting back into a job will help with that, hopefully, as well. So it's one of those things, one of those days, is whatever Limp Bizkit said. But it's pretty exciting. So I will hopefully be going to Japan next year still, but it won't be with the group, regrettably, but it is what it is. Life works in mysterious ways. Sometimes it's blessing, sometimes it's curse, sometimes it's equally parts both. But I know they're going to have fun. I know they're going to have a fun, safe trip. I'm excited for them. They'll probably make it to Japan before I will, because I'll probably, with that in mind, with tariffs in mind, for me, I would probably go at the end of the month when Figure Arts are releasing their figures. So for February, that kind of closes the gap. That's the nice thing about February being a shorter month, is that normally Tamashii releases things anywhere from like the 17th all the way up until like the 30th or the 31st. February, only 28 days, I think, next year, right? It's February, 28 days next year. So like you see, like it's basically only these sets of days. So it would end up probably being more than 5 days. I'd probably stay like 6-7 days maybe. Land here, depending on release days. But like I'd probably go towards the end of the month, since I don't really need to go to things like Wonderfest anymore. Not collecting Safubi. It'd be nice to go to see all the prototypes and the anime figures and all that, but at the same time, a lot of standing, a lot of things that might not sit well with me, healthy wise. So and one day at Awaji Island's probably going to be my max anyways at this point. So so taking that off and then just having like bursts of shopping that we can live stream, as we're, well, not the whole time, because obviously some places don't want to have film and camera in them, especially live streaming specifically, because now all of these clout chasers on TikTok, Twitch, even on YouTube, not as much on YouTube, even I think Kick had some issues with it in the beginning, and some of those other niche sites where you had people going and just being disruptive while live streaming is kind of, a lot of countries, not just Japan, ban public live streaming now. And it's really sad because it would be kind of cool just to live stream with you guys on a day of shopping. Just be like, oh, here we are. I wouldn't do the whole trip there, but the second we get to the Mandarake and, have approval to do it, be like, all right, we're going to go look through the cases, and then, you guys would see me do an order, and then obviously would probably dip out during the actual purchase of things. But, if I have yen in my pocket, I'm not using my card, maybe I, wouldn't be that big of a deal. But, see what it's like, Japanese Mandarake shopping. Because honestly, I've been watching them online, the Mandarake website. Man, they've got some really, really crazy deals on some super uncommon SHF Ultraman releases. Like, we're talking about the big Mac Daddies of the line that are really hard to get or very uncommon to see, that are on the more expensive scale. They have some stuff like I don't see them get almost ever. There was one, I wouldn't be able to buy it. I think it's the Corona and Luna mode Ultra 7, I believe is what the set's called. It's the Tamashii Nations event exclusive from 2019. It's a dual pack. I don't see those very often. I don't see those unopened very often, and this is a brand mint one, and it's only like 24,000 yen. It's just kind of like, oh damn. I wish I had a job and money right now, because I would 100% be ordering it. And they got some of the G'd forms that are really hard to get. Magnificent. The King form, they have that for like only 14,000 yen. They're both opened, but like they look, the one that shows the inside looked pretty damn good condition. So crazy deals on SHFs right now. Hi Pookie. Like Pookie, he comes to say hello again because he wants attention. Because he's just a bulldog. You're just a baby boy. Just a baby boy. This is the kaiju of our house right here. You can only see his butt, really. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Things are changing, but I'm still trying to make things work. And obviously, government and financials could change. If we go into a recession, then, probably purchases / reviews and stuff would drop down to a halt in a recession, even with a job, because everything's on a tightrope walk then. Regrettably, I'd have to say gaming streams would come back 100% full in charge, because I still want to make sure I watch Shin Ultraman. I'll be having a Figure Marts incoming soon after. Yeah, dude, it's awesome, dude. I'm sure once I watch Shin Ultraman, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a fun film, especially if you've seen Ultraman 66, the original Ultraman show. Like, the movie's just fantastic. It's a love letter. It is definitely a weird movie, and it might be a little I'm interested to see I don't know if you've seen any Ultraman at all, but if you haven't seen 66, I'm interested to see what your opinion will be, because I feel like, for like my girlfriend, she still enjoyed it, but she was kind of confused. She's like, man, that feels really weird. Like, it almost feels like, it's episodes in a movie, and it's like, well, it's a show being partially made for a movie scale. It's kind of like the original Clone Wars movie, Star Wars Clone Wars. Feels like a bunch of episodes just stitched together. Where this kind of doesn't quite feel like stitches, but like you can still feel it. But I feel like it works to its prime, so I'm interested to see. If you've never seen 66, which is on Prime, that show's on Prime, which I 100% recommend. If you enjoy Shin Ultraman, go back and watch Ultraman 66. You will. It's 39 episodes long, but it is, man, some of my favorite kaiju tokusatsu media. Period. It's so damn good. The vibe, the feel, just everything. Haven't seen 66, but I've been meaning to this year specifically. I'll binge that. Yeah, I recommend. And then you don't have to binge either. Like, you can it's a fun show where you can take it like a section, like a few episodes at a time, come back. It's a nice show. So whatever you'd like to do, that's what I would recommend. If you like binging, binge it. If you don't like binging, don't have to binge it. I feel like it's one of the shows that like you can just like stop for a little bit and rewatch. So, or you can not rewatch but then continue watching, because like it is a story. It is an overarching story, but at the same time, like 66 is really like monster of the week, where like things from the past will be brought up, but like if you don't remember like the little things, it's not like super important to watching it. So it's kind of nice. Whereas like the modern Ultraman shows, you do have to, like it's good to know what's going on throughout the whole show, which is why normally when I start a show and I end up not finishing it, then when I go back and try to finish it, I have to rewatch it from the beginning. The comfort type show, yeah. It's more of a comfort type show. So yeah, like there are episodes where it's like there's one Seijin that's in there twice, but like you really don't need to see both episodes to see it. There's only what, two episodes or two sections that are like a double piece. So the Gamora episode is a part 1 and part 2, and the finale is a part 1 and a part 2. I think all the others are literally just like monster of the week. So yeah, it's a comfort show. It is a nice, relaxing show. You don't even necessarily need to be like, it's a show that you can have on while doing things, like if you need to clean or like doing dishes or all that. Yeah, it's from 66, it's from 1966. So like, take that as you is. It's just, it's nice. It's a really, really fun show. Taylor likes watching it too, don't you, big guy? Don't you, big guy? Oh, you can't even see him. Well, you can see my white butt, but you can't see him, or my white arm, not my butt. You just need attention, don't you? You love attention. Everything on you, he said. He's kind of mad I had chicken nuggets. He loves chicken, so I had some chicken nuggets without giving him any, so he's a little frustrated right now. But yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I guess I've mentioned it before. I'm not going to AMA this year, so if you're going, sadly won't see you guys there. I've got a few friends going. Thirsty Thursday Toys will be there, so if you guys see him, say hi to him. My friend RJ will be in the Godzilla 1964 cosplay. He'll be there. Say hi, get photos. Kaiju United will be there. I know Jacob's going to be there for sure. I can't fully remember who all else from Kaiju United's going. I know a few Kaiju United are going, so some of the guys from there. So go hang out, and there's more people as well. Otaku America is going to be there for sellers. A few others. So if you guys are going to AMA this weekend, have fun. There with y'all in spirit. Sad that I can't go, but at the same time, life happens. And then yeah. But trying to go to G-Fest. Hopefully we'll be at G-Fest. Plan is to still go to G-Fest. One way or the other, we'll see. And then Japan next year. And that's probably it for me. Convention wise. The next year I have no idea what I'm doing. So I have no ideas. So you guys hear this beast? Oh, there he is. You can kind of see him. Hey Taylor, come over here. Over here. Show the people your beautifulness. There he is. That's our kaiju of the house. He's like a lawnmower. He makes lawnmower noises. He's so cute. I love this dog. He's a good boy. Yeah. I guess, okay. I'm getting distracted. He's distracting me because he's just himself. He's so cute. But that's kind of it for me. That's kind of all I want to talk about. I don't want to really go in too much more. We talked about tariffs a little bit earlier. I don't want to go in too much more because, not too much more we can talk about besides Heyo pushing back their products or delaying their products. Mondo is kind of opening things up again, so I think they're taking a more Super 7 route with a dispense of a price increase to help level out tariffs. And then I guess, so in a day and a half, we should be hearing what Tamashi is going to be doing with their tariffs. So this weekend, I will 100% have a live stream dedicated to their response if they have a response. They did say the delays for U.S. products was going to be the 9th of May. We will see if that's just going to get extended. If they're going to open up pre-orders, if everything's just going to get a slight price hike, or if everything will just be individual, or if they're going to just pull out of selling for the U.S. until things calm down. Once again, we don't know. Maybe they'll move everything to the Vietnam plant, but once the 90-day pause on all of the global tariffs are lifted this summer, Vietnam did have, I believe it was a 30 or a 40% tariff. I don't know if that was limited to things, though, but, I mean, we were also told the China stuff was going to be limited to $800, and then that got pissed in the bucket. And now foreign movies are going to have tariffs, supposedly. Nothing in legislation yet, but obviously the administration likes to act without the government really knowing as well, the rest of the government. So better to plan for the worst than the best in this situation, because it legitimately, regardless of what political side you're on, it's getting worse, and it's a little scary. So not just collectible wise, but for everything. It is not going in a good way right now. So, and yeah, so, but I'm not going to beat you guys with that. Like I said, in a day and a half, we'll get to talk about hopefully when Tamashi gives us a more full statement, a teeny bit stressful. Yeah, just a teeny bit. They're already saying toilet paper is going to get fucking expensive and hard to find again. So, it's going to be back to COVID times, basically, is what this is going to feel like, except everything's going to be double time the price. Eggs were expensive during COVID, but they weren't $11, $12, $13 expensive. That it is in some places, not every place, but some places. So it is what it is. I guess it kind of is what it is right now. Oh, there he is. Look at that dog. Look at that chunky boy. But yeah, so I'll beat you guys in the head with that conversation once Tamashi makes a comment. Once again, thinking it should be the 9th. It should be the 9th Japan time. So, like, technically, honestly, in like 24 hours, 36 hours, we could be seeing it. We could be figuring out. I mean, I guess what we'll do is we'll watch Big Bad Toy Store. If Big Bad Toy Store gets a huge drop of pre-orders from Tamashi, and they're the same price as the U.S. MSRP estimates, or if they're more expensive, we'll kind of know there. And then hopefully Tamashi themselves will just make a statement on it. So, and Bandai as a whole, I feel like Bandai hasn't really been talking themselves, but I mean, none of the realtors that get Movie Monster Series figures have been getting those. Showcase to Kaiju, Beast of the East, they still got their orders in, thankfully, but none of the big retailers. So that something's going on. So hopefully it's for the better. It's some good news. There is political good news going on, some lawsuits and stuff, some things that are being won. That'll hopefully start to push us into getting some of these tariff damages and other things pushed back against and revoked, hopefully. So that's going to be it from me, though. I think we went, 2 hours. Holy shit. Wow. Thank you guys so much, Daniel, Alex. Thank you guys for talking, hanging out, the stream. Everyone else as well that's been hanging out for the stream, whether you comment or not. I appreciate all the support you guys give. Taking time out of your night and day to watch my balding head just yap about things, and have wonderful discussions with you all here has been wonderful. Ooh, you hear that? The gator. He's also an alligator. So, it's always fun. It's always a pleasure. So I thank y'all for hanging out. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Hopefully the first half of your week has been positive, hopefully, and hopefully the next half as well. So take care, everyone. Have a wonderful night. I will see you guys within the next few days with an unboxing live. Well, okay, so I did talk about the Amazon box. That gets here on Friday, 100%. So we will have an unboxing on Friday, one way or the other. Hopefully it'll be Gamera and the Amazon box. We don't know that for sure. And then the Ami Ami box will be next week. It'll be next week, hopefully. Yep, you as well, Alex, Daniel, both of you guys, take care. But yeah, within the next few days, watch out for streams, and watch out for unboxing streams. No, that's all good, Alex. It's all good. It's all good, buddy. Hey, no, thank you, man. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your nights. Have a wonderful week, everyone. I'll see you guys in the next few days. Might be a review posted tomorrow. I would like to get 2 out this week since the Gamera one. So might be a review tomorrow. Might punch it out tonight. So be on the lookout. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye now.